Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brainbean here again, back with another chair roundup for you. I know my last two chair roundups have been super popular, some of the best videos I've ever had on the channel, so I went out and I found 7 more gaming chairs for you. And we've got price ranges all the way from very affordable all the way up to the super high end. We've got some of the best brands in the business and even some that you may have never even heard of before, so I think this is going to be a really good chair roundup. Now, I'm going to have links down in the description of the chairs that I've already done full-length reviews of for you, as well as links to purchase any of the chairs if you see one that you like in this video. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at this year's chair roundup. So the first chair that we're going to look at comes to us from Killaby, and it is the model 8212. Now, Killaby doesn't actually have names for the models of their chairs. They're all just assorted numbers, so it does get a little bit confusing. But most of their stuff is on Amazon. They do have a little bit on their website as well. Now, the 8212 does come in a bunch of different varieties as far as colors go. And some notable features about this chair is it's made with a polyurethane leather. Now, they say that the actual seat base and lumbar pillow are made out of memory foam, but this is certainly not any memory foam that I've ever felt before. It doesn't feel like what you would consider to be like real, soft premium memory foam. Now, that being said, the actual comfort of the chair is surprisingly pretty good for the $229 price point. Part of that is because the ergonomic design of how it kind of hugs you into the seat. It's definitely got that sort of like bucket style racing seat. But one of the things that impressed me and really stands out with this Killaby chair is that the base of it is like 6 inches thick. I mean, it's a lot of padding there. And one of the tests I always like to do with these chairs is to kind of put my knee into the base of it and put all my weight on it. And if I can feel the frame underneath, then it's, something that you may not want to spend a bunch of time in if you can feel that frame kind of over time. And I don't feel that with this chair, and I actually think it's got one of the better seat bases out of a bunch of chairs that I've tried so far. But that being said, I mean, the lumbar pillow, like most gaming chairs, really isn't all that great, but especially so on this one. I mean, as you can see, it's just this big, awkward shaped wedge that is not memory foam like they say it is, or it certainly doesn't feel like it. And the head pillow is just sort of your standard kind of, it's fine, I guess, but it's certainly nothing to write home about. And the overall build quality of it, even though, I put these together with a, like a drill to really tighten it down and then hand tighten it as much as I can to really get rid of as much rattle as I can, there's still a bit of rattle to it. The base and casters aren't quite the best quality, even though it is a metal base. It's pretty thin feeling. It's still better than some of the plastic ones out there. They do have some plastic bases. But, I feel like for $229, it's a pretty appropriate product for the cost, and I can't really knock it on that. So, the Killaby so far it's not too bad of a chair. Now, in terms of overall features, it does have the ability to fully recline back, sort of all the standard stuff you expect from gaming chairs these days, like 4-point armrests, the ability to raise and lower the piston on the seat, as well as the ability to lock back the rocking mechanism. So next up, we have the Arazi For Nose. Now, this one comes in at $319, so it's getting a little bit more expensive from the Killaby, almost about another $100 jump here, but we do see some pretty significant improvements in quality for the price that we're paying. Now, this chair is built with all metal construction in the frame. Now, that's wrapped up in a cold cure foam that's all tied together with a polyurethane leather. Now, it's available in a couple of different colors, and I like that it has this sort of aggressive pattern with a two-tone color with the black, and in this case, we have orange. But again, they do have a bunch of different varieties. But some other notable things here on top of the ergonomic design, again with that nice bucket style seat and the big wings that support your shoulders, I like that they have a standalone padding for the actual backrest itself, and you can see how it kind of protrudes out a little bit. And that just helps give you a little bit extra padding. The polyurethane in this chair compared to the Killaby as well is much softer, and it's just got a little bit more premium feel to it. You can also see that in the armrests. The armrests on the Arazi are much bigger, and so they'll be able to accommodate a little bit more of your arm, as well as having a squishy sort of padding to them that does make them feel a little bit more premium. Again, they've got the 4-dimensional armrests here that can move in and out, up or down. You got the same gas piston, the ability to rock the chair, lock it back, lean it back all the way. All that stuff's pretty standard with gaming chairs. Another thing I like about this one is it does have a really sturdy, nice metal base with some good quality casters. And a big thing on the Vernosa that stands out is this head pillow here. It's very soft, and it is designed to really contour to your head. I mean, as you can see, I mean, compared to every other chair in this Roundup, it's a much larger head pillow, much nicer quality. And so, you know, that's something that if you find yourself really wanting to lean back into your chair, you might be able to take advantage of that. Now, the lumbar pillow is a little bit different story on this one, and like I've said about just about every lumbar pillow for gaming chairs, pretty much useless, don't really recommend it, but I do like that this one is a fairly small one, so it's not that big speed bump on your back that is just super uncomfortable. You might be able to get some use out of it, but realistically, I don't think many people actually use the lumbar pillows on these chairs. But that's the Arazi For Nose for $319. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up we have the Secretlab Omega 2020 edition. And if you guys have watched any of my chair comparison videos, you know the Secretlab Omega has been one of my favorite and most recommended chairs, and the 2020 edition is absolutely no exception. Now, this one comes in anywhere from $360 all the way up into like the $800 range. And the reason for that is that it's available in 3 different major varieties. That's going to be in the difference of the finish. So the base model that you see here, this one is about $360, and it's the polyurethane leather version. They also have a version that comes in a soft weave fabric, and that one's going to be a little bit more expensive, and then tops out at the Napa leather, which is a genuine leather version. That's going to be the most premium one. They also have some really cool officially licensed versions as well. Like they've got a couple of Game of Thrones licensed ones that are coming out pretty soon. They're gonna have a House Lannister, Targaryen, and Stark version. They've also got a Batman themed one. They've got a Dead Mouse licensed one, a couple other ones as well. So Secretlab's definitely got some really good licenses under their belt to have some really cool chairs. But to actually dive into some of the reasons that I recommend Secretlab chairs, and that's going to be just the overall quality you get with a Secretlab chair. Even just from when you open the box up to assemble it, just seeing how it's packaged, you can tell that the components are much higher quality. Even just the instruction booklets or the tools that they give you to put the chair together with all stand above the rest. And I've put together upwards of 40 different gaming chairs at this point, and Secretlab continues to impress me as one of the most high-end experiences when it comes to that. I mean, as you guys can see here, just aesthetically, the chairs look really nice. I mean, they do have the big Omega branding in the middle of the chair, as well as they've got a little bit on the back side, but I like the sort of classy gold stitching that they have. And the Secretlab logo itself really doesn't look all that bad. You do have a little tag for the 2020 edition over here on the side, but I like the two-toned look to the polyurethane leather, and I've always kind of liked that orange, goldish orange stitching that they have in the chairs. But the most important part of any gaming chair, of course, is just going to be the overall comfort factor. And I really like the ergonomics of this one. The foam itself feels great, and just the design that Secretlab has with the Omega just really makes it something that you want to sit in for a long period of time, and it doesn't really have any fatigue points. And I personally used the Omega 2019 edition for at least a year of solid use, and that was a chair that I really enjoyed using. Some things that are different on the 2020 version are on the armrest. They actually have some of the buttons recessed in flush with the armrests, as well as they have a little bit more concave design, and they're a little bit more padded. Also, the head pillow is this nice dense memory foam. You can see here as I squish it down, it's very slow rising foam. The head pillow is a lot bigger on this version than the 2019 version was. A little bit narrower pillow, a little bit smaller. And another thing I like about the Omega is that the lumbar pillow that they give you is one of the most usable lumbar pillows of any gaming chair I've ever tried. And the reason for that is you get the nice, soft, squishy, slow rising memory foam with the soft sort of like microfiber material. And it just makes it something that you can actually put in the chair, and it doesn't feel like a speed bump in your back. So in terms of overall quality, comfort, and just the aesthetics, Secretlab Omega 2020 still continues to be one of my very favorite chairs. Next up, we have the AK Racing Masters series. Now this one starts at $450, so we're definitely starting to work our way up now. Some things I really like about the Masters series chairs: one, the quality of the polyurethane leather is leaps and bounds ahead of some chairs that are almost every chair out there, really. It's a very soft feeling polyurethane, and it borders on feeling like real leather, which is really nice. I also like the quality of the padding in the chair. It's a much softer feeling padding than normal cold cure foam is. Normally that's kind of rigid, and if you've sat in some gaming chairs before, like 90% of them really don't have a lot of squish to them. Part of that's to give you more support, but it's also just because the softer foams are a little bit more expensive. Also, if you guys remember, one of the favorite chairs that I've ever reviewed was the Thermaltake GT Fit, and the reason that I really liked that one was that it had this really deep like the sides that hugged you into the chair. It was very deep, and so it really felt like it wrapped around your body, and this AK Racing Master Series really does a good job of that. It also sort of has this like clamshell design to the wings area that wrap around your shoulders, and so it's much deeper and it really kind of wraps around. So when you lay back into this chair, and if you're playing your, you know, like on your desk and you kind of lay back into it, it really sucks you into the chair and kind of just, you know, holds you in and makes you feel soft and snug and cozy, like your mom's holding you like a tiny baby. It's really nice and comforting. If you're freaking out or something and you need a hug, this chair's got your back. But as you guys can see, overall, the aesthetics are really nice. I like the tricolor design of this one here. They do have other finishes, but they, as you know, the Master Series implies, it's just a much higher quality. You're going to get much more aesthetic value on terms of just the overall comfort and all that as well. They have really nice armrests, and it's actually a design that I've never seen before in terms of the shape and overall feel to it, so that's cool. They could be a little bit more padded, but they still feel pretty darn good. The base of this one is super sturdy, and the casters on it are very, very nice. They've sort of got this like car rim look to them, and they're not your standard like just black plastic ones. They'll actually tie into the look of the chair, which is always nice. Next up, we've got the Vertagear PL4500, and if you guys watched my full-length review on this one, Vertagear's done a bunch of different things with this that really make it stand out, and in a time when like 90 to 95% of the gaming chair market all has the exact same design, the same features, you know, they're arguably almost all the same, Vertagear's done a lot to really make this chair unique and stand out. Again, this one's $480, so we're getting even more expensive, even more premium, but let's go ahead and talk about what makes the PL4500 stand out. So one thing that Vertagear does that's a little bit different and that I really like is on their website, they have a sizing chart. So you can put in your height, your weight, your measurements, and it will spit out a couple of different suggestions for you of which chairs in their catalog are gonna fit your body type best, which really helps eliminate some of the guesswork when it comes to picking out gaming chairs, knowing which one can support you or which one's gonna give you the right amount of comfort for your body type. So that's a big plus. Another thing is just in the actual construction of the chair, the tools that they give you have actual good, like full-size grips to them, so you're not like blistering your fingers using these crappy little Allen keys, and the actual hardware and the process of putting it together is much nicer. Another thing that I'll show you guys some close-ups here of is that the actual mechanisms for where where you bolt the chair to the base of it on almost all gaming chairs, you bolt them to the outside and then you screw in like a little plastic covering. But on the Vertagear ones, you actually slide it inside the chair, so you don't have to do any of that cover-up stuff. And overall makes for a much nicer, cleaner design. Same for the clutch that lets the chair recline all the way back. It's actually recessed into the base of the seat itself. Overall, just looks way higher quality having those nice little touches. I've never seen a gaming chair do that before, and it was just seeing that little improvement really made a big difference. Another really cool thing about Vertagear is that the actual cushions are made out of a coffee fiber material, and what that's designed to do is to reduce moisture as well as being odor resistant, and so that coffee fiber makes it so that like bacteria and stuff like that can't grow in there. So over time, you know, with all like sweat and all this kind of stuff that can get into a seat cushion, it's just designed to be a much more hygienic option, and so that's another thing that I really, really like. Also, as you can see, the material that it's wrapped in is a much nicer, soft material. And you've got the nice accented stitching that matches the color of the chair. And of course, it is wrapped in some polyurethane leather on the outside for the accents. But the soft material where your body sits is a really nice change. Because personally, I don't really enjoy the feeling of leather anyways. So I actually really like the soft ones. Now, it can be a bit of a disadvantage because if you spill on it, it's probably going to absorb the moisture a little bit better than the polyurethane would. But on the flip side of that, you're actually sitting on where all the soft stuff is anyway. So chances are you're gonna get it on yourself before you get it on the chair anyways. A couple other cool things about it, they have an optional RGB kit that you can buy for it. So you can actually put it up here where these like plastic cutouts are and have some RGB there. The base of the chair is really, really nice and sturdy, as well as they've got some really great casters on this one. And the armrest, again, you get the nice 4-dimensional armrest. Pretty much all this kind of stuff is standard fare, raise and lower the piston, lock back rocking, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, we'll get into the pillows. So the head pillow, it's pretty decent. I'd say better than most. Not quite as good as Secretlab's by any means, but it's a soft, not quite, well, kind of memory foam material, but not nearly as dense or slow rising as Secretlab's is, but the nice kind of cloth finish to that. And then the lumbar pillow is going to be, unfortunately, one of those that I would just throw out. It's pretty tough and isn't really going to give you a whole lot of support. But other than that, I wholeheartedly recommend the Vertagear PL4500. It's a little bit expensive, but if you want something that feels really great and comfortable, but also really has some like nice premium features and looks like a high-end chair, it's a really great one to take a look at. So next up, getting into the really high-end chairs now, we have the Vertagear Trigger 350 Special Edition. Now this chair here is about $1,000, and they also have the regular 350 edition. And real quick, we'll just talk about what makes the Special Edition the Special Edition. Basically what it is it comes in this limited edition candy apple red finish to it. The finish looks freaking amazing. I mean, it looks like automotive paint finish, this nice kind of candy shell red. Really, really nice looking chair. The other optional things are, if you buy the regular 350, you can also choose to add to it for an additional cost the upgraded, much nicer casters, which we'll take a look at here in a second, and also this detachable headrest here. So the special edition essentially just includes all of those extras into the one bundle and also gives you the limited edition color. Notable features about the Trigger though, it's an all mesh, ultra ergonomic gaming chair. This is something that is gonna be comparable to like Herman Miller style chairs. It's got adjustable lumbar in the back of the chair, so you can actually raise or lower that to be exactly where you need it to be. The base will slide in and out so that you can have, the chair kind of cater exactly to your body type. A really cool thing, and what kind of plays into the Trigger in the name, is that there's triggers built into the armrests themselves. And so if you want to be able to recline the chair back, for example, instead of having to reach underneath the chair and grab the paddles of a normal style chair, you just click the triggers in the armrest and you can make all the adjustments there. And so it just makes it so you don't have to worry about tweaking your body in weird ways. You've got all those controls right at your fingertips, so getting the chair exactly where you want it is super easy. Also, the mesh design to it is really comfortable. I really enjoy it. This has actually been my daily driver chair ever since I got it. I moved away from the standard gaming style chair design to this ergonomic gaming office chair kind of design, if you will, because it helped eliminate a lot of my back pain. And even though sometimes the mesh isn't always comfortable, like if you're sitting in the mesh and you're somebody who likes to sit with your legs underneath you or like your knees up or something like that, it may find that the mesh isn't the most comfortable thing for you. But if you're sitting the proper way, sitting right, straight up, that kind of thing, then it's very comfortable. It also has real calf leather accents on the top and the sides and in the seat. So if you're somebody who cares about the animals and that sort of thing, just keep in mind that this is real leather. But the rest of it, I mean, it's all super premium. You can see in the actual construction of the back of the chair, again, it's this nice all metal construction with this really cool, like futuristic looking frame to it with that beautiful real automotive paint. I think just really makes it look like a super quality product. And for $1,000, I mean, it really should. And I can wholeheartedly say, just like going into the old saying where you spend a couple $1,000s on your mattress because you spend 8 hours a day sleeping, and it makes sense to really invest in that. If you're somebody that spends a lot of time at your desk like I do, whether it's working from home for my job or it's editing videos or playing video games, I'd say I spend 2/3 of my day on an average day at the computer. And so the cost of this chair for somebody like me would be pretty justified in that it's good for your body and that sort of thing. So something to keep in mind, but it's an ultra premium chair that I can wholeheartedly recommend to you guys. And lastly, that brings us to the LF Gaming Stealth. Now, this is by far the most expensive gaming chair that I have ever seen or ever used. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything even out there on the market that costs more than this thing does. It is an all memory foam chair, so everything is wrapped in this nice, thick, slow rising memory foam. It's like having a Tempur-Pedic mattress turned into a chair, essentially. It's got a ton of ergonomic design features to it, being able to raise and lower the backrest. It's got a baked-in head pillow. It's got built-in adjustable lumbar support, so you can actually have it come in or out to contour to your back. You can slide the base of the chair in or out. You can move the armrests, a whole bunch of different things like that to really cater it exactly to your body. And you do genuinely sink into this chair, and you can feel it fill all the void space and really sort of support you. That being said, there are a couple of things about the chair that I don't necessarily like, and I have used this chair for about 6-7 months straight. I actually switched to the Vertagear trigger from this chair because I did notice that while especially the seat base is super comfortable, I really liked it, I felt like my back wasn't being supported enough. And I think part of that is the design, where you can see like it's very narrow, and compared to pretty much every other chair you've seen in this video, they give you more support on the sides. Really helps kind of keep you centered and upright, and it's very easy to slide to one side in this chair. And so with that, I would notice that even though the chair was super comfortable, after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours, I noticed I was starting to get a lot of pain in between my shoulder blades. And I haven't noticed that with something like the Vertagear trigger. And so with that, I mean, it's a very, very expensive chair, and for me, I better be getting the absolute best experience out of it. So for me personally, I don't really recommend the LF Gaming Stealth because it's very expensive, and while it is super plush, and if you like a very squishy, very soft chair, and you think this is something that will benefit you, it very much might, because I've had tons of people come over to the house and sit in it, and they fall in love with this thing immediately. But for me personally, a more ergonomic chair was just a better choice for me. But certainly everything about this chair screams quality, to the super soft, spill-resistant Brisa fabric, which is probably the nicest feeling fabric I've ever felt on a chair, to the nice look and just overall aesthetic to the chair, and all of the build quality is super, super top notch. But again, for the price and for how it made my body feel, it's not really one that I would just say you guys really need to go out and buy. All right, so now that we've done a brief rundown of all of the chairs, I just kind of want to give you guys my overall opinions, kind of going away from this video. In terms of the best overall winner out of this whole roundup, the one chair that I would recommend out of any of the chairs in terms of overall value, overall quality, and comfort, and just feel, and all of it together, has to be the Secretlab Omega 2020. Just everything about that chair screams quality. It comes in at a reasonable price point, and the added bonus of having a ton of different finishes and different licensed themes, as well as color schemes and all that stuff, really makes it a diverse chair that you can fit into a ton of different setups. And just these super comfortable pillows, the nice ergonomic design of it, just always makes it a favorite of mine that I really enjoy. A really good alternate to that would be the Vertagear PL4500. That's another chair that I really, really like, really recommend. A lot of great premium features, but I think the reason it loses out to the Secretlab is just that the Secretlab has a bunch more options, and the pillows are much nicer on the Secretlab as well, so that just sort of makes it squeak ahead a little bit for me. In terms of the two super expensive top tier chairs that we took a look at, again, like I mentioned, I switched from that $1,300 LF Gaming Stealth over to the $1,000 Vertagear trigger. And I just think overall, in terms of the ergonomics and just the overall aesthetic and comfort, the Trigger 350 Special Edition is an incredible chair. I actually use the Herman Miller Aerons at work, and when I come home and sit in the Trigger, it is a night and day difference. It's really comfortable. Highly recommend that one. But that being said, when it comes to any of these chairs, I mean, obviously this is a big investment. And sure, at least in my mind, like I mentioned, is sort of that mattress analogy. Having a good, comfortable chair is really important, especially if you have back problems or if you spend a lot of time at your desk. It's certainly worth it to yourself in the long run to invest in a good chair. But I definitely recommend that if you don't quite have your rig where you need it to be, it's hard to justify spending $1,000 on a chair or $500 on a chair when you might be able to really benefit from a better GPU, or getting your rig where you need it to be, or a better monitor or something like that. I think that will certainly improve your gaming experience a little bit more than investing in a chair right off the bat. But with that being said, if you've got your rig especially where you want it and that sort of thing, then hopefully this video helped you guys out in deciding a really good quality chair to go with, because there are a ton of chairs on the market. There's hundreds of them, and the majority of them really aren't that great, to be honest with you. And so hopefully this video helped you guys out. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in those comments down below which one of these chairs was your favorite, and I've got links down in the description for you if you want to learn more about any of the chairs that you saw in this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like to show your support, and if you're new here on the channel, I'd love to see you subscribe, as I've got a lot more videos like this coming for you in the very near future. You can also follow me on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming for all of my giveaway announcements, as well as some exclusive stuff I do over there. But with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.